every day,
everywhere,
across New Zealand,
from the smallest town
to the biggest city.
We have the finest tools
And expert advice.
for any job.
for any person.
Who are we?
Who are we?
Who are we?
We are Nelson, Hamilton, Pukekohe.
Rangiora.
We are Trade Zone.
We are Trade Zone.
We are Trade Zone.
Trade Zone, proud to bring you Trade Zone Addicted to Fishing.
I'm Nicky, and since I could hold a handline, I have been addicted to fishing. Whether it's straylining for snapper, trolling for marlin, dropping deep for swordfish, or jumping in and going spearfishing, I love it all. Join me each week as I road trip around the country, travelling to both New Zealand's most iconic fishing destinations and stepping off the beaten track to show just how good Kiwi fishing really is. Whether it's a girls' trip, fishing with a local, or riding solo, I am on a constant quest to satisfy my insatiable fishing addiction. Welcome to Trade Zone Addicted to Fishing. This week we're about to head off somewhere very special.
Fiordland, here we come.
We've flown into Queenstown, travelled down to Te Anau, and we're flying via helicopter into the spectacular Dusky Sounds. It's a 25-minute flight and crosses some of New Zealand's most remote and beautiful terrain. There are no roads leading into the southern remote fjords, and this helps keep Fiordland the pristine environment that we see today. The wild coastlines and weather also pose a natural barrier for small recreational boats. We're meeting the Pure Salt crew, who are anchored up and are waiting for us on board MB Flightless.
We finally made it. We're here in Fiordland. This place feels incredible. Hey Maria.
She's an ex-Navy ship which comfortably sleeps and takes care of up to 12 passengers. It's going to be our home for the next 5 days. Maria and Sean run Pure Salt, and they take us through the safety briefing, and we decide that the best way to check out our surroundings is to jump into the kayaks.
Fiordland is quite a unique environment in a couple of different ways. Above the water, you get close to virgin forests, just close to what Captain Cook would have experienced 250 years ago. Some endemic native wildlife, bird life in particular, that you don't find anywhere else in the world, and that's still being protected up here. And below the water, you end up with a very unique system because of the deep, steep fjords, still water, called deep water emergence. So you got black corals and red corals and other species growing a lot shallower than they normally would, which is very unique in the world as well. So it's pretty special no matter what you're into. My love for the ocean is something that truly came from within. As I started working on the ocean and in the ocean, I just want to do more and more of it, and I can't see myself ever not doing that. If I'm away from the ocean for even a few weeks, I'm naturally drawn back. If we go on holiday together, we somehow randomly find ourselves back on beaches, back in wharfs, back on the water, back on other people's charter boats. Just can't help it.
Maria and Sean have created what I would easily call the most incredible adventure on offer here in New Zealand. The 9 of us on board are absolutely fizzing to jump into the water, so we're off to Anchor Island to start with some scuba diving.
This is your playground. This is pretty special.
This is a very special environment down here in Fiordland. We've just arrived here at Anchor Island in Anchor Island Harbour, and we'll go off and have a scuba dive in paradise, basically.
What are we likely to see down there?
Well, she's a different environment, so we're very lucky we have good numbers of crayfish and kinners and fish species down here. But also we have a freshwater layer on the surface. So we're probably going to dive down through what looks like a cup of tea. We'll get through that cup of tea, that brownie colour, and then we'll be into the salt water after that. And down there, hopefully we're lucky enough to see some black corals and sponges and all our classic species.
So what we're doing today is we're taking 6 crayfish between the 5 of us that are going to be diving, and we are going to cherish them and devour them for dinner tonight. But I'm pretty keen to have a look at a few more than 6, and the black coral. Tell me a bit more about that.
So it's because of that freshwater layer.
Yeah.
So the freshwater makes it a darker environment. It's also very still in here, so it's basically replicating a deep sea environment. So we get these black corals and other deep sea species that will come up and live nice and shallow.
Like the hapuku?
Yeah, hapuku are definitely shallow. Yeah, we have a few of them in nice and close. You'll find them in caves and different wee spots around here. I've had them in 14 metres of water before. So yeah, never know your luck really.
And into the 13-degree water we go. We're all suited up in 7mm wetty wetsuits, and contrary to what you might think, we are almost too warm. As soon as we hit the water, we're greeted with wildlife. And it's not long before we see a nest of crayfish, which is less than 10 metres deep. I see a big boy and I go in for the grab, but it's just a little bit too quick for me. Another big crayfish is chilling out in the next crag. I distract it by cutting up some kinna, before I carefully reach in and go for the grab at the base of its horns. We wrestle for a moment before he grabs onto my forearm, and I'm blown away with the sheer size and strength of this crayfish. Just after the break, we check out more of what stunning Fiordland has to offer. It's the middle of winter, and we have choppered into the stunning, dusky sounds in Fiordland. We're on board with Maria and Sean from Pure Salt.
A lot of people, when it comes to Fiordland, have heard about the dark layer of fresh water sitting on top of the salt water. The fancy name for it is deep water emergence. So it comes down to the amount of rainfall we're getting in Fiordland. It filters through the forest and picks up tannins. So the forest effectively acts like a tea bag, and that fresh water then settles on top of the salt water, and because it's so still inside the fjords, it just builds up, filters out light, so you end up with a slightly darker environment underneath.
Fiordland poses a breeding ground for crayfish because the commercial fishermen voluntarily move to external waters, which is a massive help in keeping these stocks healthy. With that also comes a responsibility to look after what we have by only taking what we need for the table and leaving the rest to breed. The quota may be 6 per diver, but with 10 people in the water, 60 crays is certainly not sustainable if every recreational or charter boat does it all year round. We turn around after grabbing a cray, and a stunning 7-gill shark has come in for a sniff. This is an outstanding shark to dive with. It's so primitive, and I love its calm, slow movements. This magical underwater marine environment shows us so many different fish species, and we spend time being wowed by the abundance of crayfish. Interestingly, the female crayfish goes into berry at the same time each year, and they hold the eggs underneath their tails. Just an FYI, it's illegal to take the females and berry. The boys are still fair game though, and you can tell them apart without grabbing them by looking at the size of the front legs, which are much bigger on the males.
It was beautiful, and it wasn't even cold. These 7mm wetsuits just keep you so toasty.
Oh yes, they definitely do.
And we even got to see a shark.
Yeah, beautiful 7-giller, cruising along the sand there. Quite curious, coming up to have a look at what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was great. And my prized possession, this big puppy here. Bit of a tussle. This is going to be cherished on the table tonight.
Definitely will. There's a good range in sizes down there. Plenty of these larger bucks sitting down there at the moment. You saw while we're diving down there was a commercial crayfishing pot down there. Had a few bucks in it. Those bucks will go back into the ocean. The fishermen, they don't want that size. They're after the smaller size, the A grades and B grades. So ones like this, they'll end up putting back in the water. And we have an opportunity to go along and put it on our table.
They become so broad through here, don't they?
Yeah, so when they're getting bigger, like if you can compare it to the smaller one here, it's got quite a inline shape to it. But as they get bigger, they definitely get broader in the upper shell there.
It's amazing how a shell can grow out like that.
Yeah, so they've got an interesting process they go through. We'll hear about soft shells. So what the soft shell is, they have a layer of skin underneath this shell, and when they want to get bigger, they break that shell away, they climb out, and then they inflate that new skin or that new shell underneath with salt water, and that inflates up to a bigger shell, hardens up, That's their new shell for that year.
Yeah, that shelling process has always blown my mind a little bit.
Oh yeah. Amazing creatures, and when they peel themselves out, you know, there's new everything underneath. Absolutely amazing to see them peeling out from their shells.
Tackle tips and tactics, brought to you by Smart Marine.
All right, I just want to show you guys just how we process our crays so we get like minimal wastage here. We don't really like wasting any flesh. This is quite an old sort of a boat here we're dealing with. So basically what we're going to do is take the lid off, then separate the body from the tail and keep both pieces of flesh. Knife comes in the back of the lid. We're aiming for about the second leg here. Pop it at the bottom, straight at the back. Turn it over to this side, same thing again, straight at the back. Make sure the membrane is open and peel the lid off like so. From here, just a wee nick this side. I'm pretty well take the tail out of the body, clear it out, so we've got all our flesh right there. Lovely. Then with our body here, obviously quite a lot of flesh in here we don't really want to waste. We take the mouth, discard the mouth, then with our knife, just take off our furry bits here. Boom, so we've got a wee spider there, all our legs, all our claws, that'll get steam up real nice. Then our tail, simply right in the back of the tail here, the very last opening, knife both ways, turn it over, out comes the tube. Beautiful.
For all your fishing needs, head on down to your local Smart Marine store.
Look at it, it's beautiful.
After the break, we see what other tasty critters we can find in Fiordland. This week we are on a bucket list trip, spending 5 nights on board with Pure Salt in the stunning Dusky Sounds Fiordland. We have a crew of 9 of us, some sponsors from Trade Zone, some friends, and even my dad, stepmum Annabelle, and my husband have come along to enjoy this incredible adventure in our southern backyard.
So in Fiordland you do find hapuku very shallow. We've caught them in 5 metres of water before. Classically in Fiordland, your hapuku sizes inside the fjord, they're your school groper or school hapuku, yes. So, you know, good eating size, nice sweet ones. When you get out to the coast or into deeper waters, you're going to find your larger ones, which an angler will struggle to bring one to the surface. But when you do bring one up that size, it's going to feed all of us for a very long time. So you have the full range of hapuku sizes here.
Let's drop down one of my green 80-gram tiger bakus. It seems we're already hooked up. Feels like a sea perch. Oh, yes. Do we have any minimum number length for these fish?
Sea perch, not that no we don't. Basically it is just a bait fish, these aren't really caught commercially for any reason as far as I'm aware.
What are they called? Sea perch?
Sea perch.
Sea perch. So in the North Island they may be known as sea perch, and in the South Island down here they're known as?
Sea perch.
Sea perch.
The good R.
The good R.
I guess known as jock shirts as well. Buckermouth's quite upcoming. Just a good wee bait fish. They're actually, in saying that, I'm not fair calling them a bait fish. Good to be eaten. I've heard you can gut them, deep fry them twice, and everything becomes pretty well eatable.
Delicious.
And often, if you fillet them and put them in with blue cod, people can't tell the difference. You sneak them in the odd wee meal, and then they're pretty good.
Nice. Yep. Double! Yeah.
You happy with that? Oh, the cod's
lost
away.
one.
No. It's a good hookup though. They go hard, they're going really well.
Oh.
Cool, so we rearrange there. Big sea perch. Here we are.
All right.
Quite a lot bigger than what we found up the fjord earlier, isn't it? Fresh is best.
So this is your special technique on putting your bait on?
This is my my secret technique, so I caught my biggest one. So a good bit of, some people say slabby bait. There's just a good bit of scent, good bit of flesh on there. Puka will swim on past that, suck it on up, happy days, and the circle will come back out and grab them on the way through.
Nice.
Happy days.
Puka, puka, puka. Sean was sharing with me before that over slack tide here in Dusky Sound, that's when he likes to go puka fishing, because that's when he believes that the fish come up out of their holes. They're not very good swimmers, these puka. Right. And they do like to burrow down into the holes while you got a lot of current ripping, so. Right. We apply the same similar theory up north.
We do, at deep water, don't we?
Yeah. The last hour of the tide and going into slack is when I like to fish for puka.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Target species.
That was a good strip bait, mate. Worked well. Nice table fish. First Fiordland puka. Happy with that?
First Fiordland puka for me, yeah. Good eating size, good filleting size.
Yeah, very easy to deal with.
Yeah.
Nice for our chef to serve. Good for everyone to have a feed. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just salivating looking at that fish.
Yeah, I want to eat them.
Probably say, probably a normal sort of size here. Would be slightly bigger.
Okay.
You see these come up pretty often. It's good.
Well, it's perfect then.
Not too big, not too old.
Yeah, it's a good sized pup as it is. That's good for eating, for sure.
Tasty. Let's eat them.
Let's do it.
Should we eat them now?
Now it's time to go in search of the infamous blue cod.
We just got the classic dropper rig.
Yeah, it works well for us. Pretty basic. Just a 8-bar arrowhead. This is Fiordland's recommended hook size. So run one of those, bit of bait, and then just we stick fish on the end with the weight. Pretty simple setup, but it's pretty effective for here in Fiordland. Bit of scarlet wrasse here today. They're pretty common sort of bait fish around here. Very, very scaly, not the easiest to deal with, but they work pretty well. 34 metres. Drop. Good to drop. There we go, beautiful cod. Happy days. Well and truly in.
Interesting that the blue cod are actually brown when they're juvenile.
It's true. They'll come blue as they get older.
You. Oh, that's a good one.
Look at it, it's beautiful. Let me grab that leader. Yes. Another blue cod, lovely. This is what we call a gobstick. This is our way of releasing our smaller fish without hurting them, without touching them, you know. The more we touch, the more we grab them, the less chance they have of surviving down below. Really simple, just a basic stainless steel hook. Slides in the shank of your hook here, and then we'll just roll it over the edge, and then away he goes. Oh, that's probably not the best place to do it. I probably wouldn't record that.
This is a bit awkward. So that's how you use that, is it, Brad?
Yeah. Works generally well, except when the birds are out there. Well, we'll give you another demo, I think.
Okay, we'll do that a little bit later. Raven! Whoa! Monster! This is how we roll over at Trade Zone. Abby's hooked up. What do you reckon, Abs?
Oh, I don't know.
Monster blue cod?
Nicely caught.
It's my lovely stepmother. Hooked into what we think might be a codzilla. Yep. All the way up, wine, all the way up, quick. Woohoo! Well done, Annabelle!
Always important when you're catching blue cod to bleed them out, so nice clean fillets for the chef later on. Pretty simple. Right beneath our gills here, just pop your finger right through that membrane and just run backwards. Take it like so, pop it like that. It'll bleed out nice and clean. Clean white fillets every time.
So one thing that I have learnt through and through staying with Pure Salt is that nothing at all ever gets wasted, and I really like that. Now, these blue cod that we've taken from the ocean, everything gets used, except for the guts go back, right?
Correct, yep. We like to use everything on here. Even when we're targeting fish, we'll ask the chef what the chef wants and how they want it processed.
Yeah.
So we do make sure we use everything.
Great. Well, could you take me through the process of what you do with a blue cod?
Definitely can, yep. So the old blue cod, they're actually quite easy to fillet. I don't worry about gutting them. I start by finding how far up the top of the fish I can cut with my knife, so I'm not wasting any meat up here. Cutting around, so you got right up behind the head there, come down the backbone. Don't take it all the way off. Beautiful white flesh. Cut a
Like
little
that.
bit up there. Now you can actually feel those pin bones come down to about there. Stop cutting just before the pin bones. Cut down the middle of the flesh. And then peel.
Wicked.
Now what's happening here is we're leaving all the bones behind.
Right.
So there we have 2 fillets, no bones in them. You have your bones left up the middle there. This one piece of rib cage, we keep that for bait. Cut that off. And then the same on the other side. Right, next step, the wings. So you pop this back. There's a wee bone in here. We'll just trim underneath that bone. Get your fingers in there and pull away. Now in here you'll see there's a wee bit of liver in there and the heart. Leave them in.
Okay.
They're tasty, very tasty. So here's the rest of the liver in here. So livers will just fry up in a bit of butter. Beautiful tasting. Then we're left with the stomach, the guts basically. Cut that out. The gills. Get in here. Some people like to wear gloves on this, but basically rip it away. Fold that back over. And here we have the frame and the head. Good for making stocks. We obviously have our fillets, bit of bait, your livers and your wings, lovely smoked up. And the skins, you can even scale them, fry them up. It's a bit like crackling.
Oh.
Put it through a salad, and then we have a little bit of guts left.
The only thing that gets wasted.
That's
Well, it
the
doesn't
only
even get wasted really because it goes back into the ocean.
Back in the ocean, stop up to your favourite fishing spot, throw that in, bit of burley, away you go. Get to keep everything else.
Would you look at that?
If you would like to book your bucket list trip with the legends at Pure Salt, simply go to www.puresalt.co.nz. I promise you will not regret it. A big fat kia ora also goes to Trips and Tramps for getting us from Queenstown to Te Anau, the Bella Vista Motel for the accommodation in Te Anau, and the Te Anau Helicopter Services for the stunning chopper flight in and out of Fiordland. Gear, Care and Catch, brought to you by Trade Zone.
We're here at Trade Zone in Westport. Let's go in and meet the team. Hey Lee, how's it going?
Hi Nick, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Nice to be in Westport.
Good to see you.
I'm just in here because I'm looking for a degreaser. I've got grease from my wheel bearings on the trailer everywhere, and I need something to quickly get it off nice and
All right.
nice and easily and safely and quickly.
Well, what I would recommend is the CRC brake clean.
Okay.
It's been around for over 40 years. It's an industrial cleaner and degreaser. It evaporates fast and it's formulated to get rid of oil and grease, and I would recommend this in a 600ml can.
Great, I'll take that please.
Okay, wonderful.
For all your engineering needs, head in store or order online at www.tradezone.co.nz. Check out our YouTube page for tips, tricks and entire episodes of every season. And like us on Facebook to keep up to date with competitions and all your fishing news. Trade Zone Addicted to Fishing is proud to be with Extreme Boats. Powered by Honda Marine, we tow it around in our custom-built GFAB trailer on the back of our Mercedes-Benz V6. Smart Marine supply us with our Shimano tackle, and we find the best fishing spots with our Ray Marine. We move in precision thanks to Seastar, and maintain our gear using Ting Tools. We keep up to date thanks to New Zealand Fishing News magazine, and it all keeps performing thanks to Trade Zone.